Real news. Honest and fun political talk weekly on the Line 90.7 FM.
All right, everyone. Our guest for tonight is a huge social media personality, author of Guerrilla Mindset. He's also the filmmaker behind Silence and Hoax. And contrary to some what may think of him, he is actually the journalist that took down Jeffrey Epstein. This is Mike Cernovich. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Mike. And I've been following you since 2016, like probably a lot of people have. And I was just, interested in the fact that you started off as a lawyer, and then you became this sort of massive social media personality and sensation, and then you got on 60 Minutes. How did you, and now you've taken down one of the biggest pedophiles and child sex traffickers in the world that we know of. How did you go all the way from lawyer to, taking down these big sleazy billionaires?
Well, it was a pathway of knowing what levers to kind of pull. That's where the law background came in, and the law background set in. There was no way to get a hold of the records in the criminal case involving Jeffrey Epstein, which was a complete disgrace. But then I found, I don't want to call it a loophole, but I found a legal mechanism that could be used to obtain records in a related civil case. And then that's why we sought the civil lawsuit.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like I say, you took down Epstein, but how did you actually do it? Did you know, because I know you're involved with Pizzagate a little bit. Did you know already this name was being floated around? How did you actually sort of find the breadcrumb trail?
Well, Epstein had come out in various names in various legal circles as somebody who got away with a crime. And I looked into it. I'm not sure what the exact year was, but sometime in 2016, when all those articles surfaced, like Jimmy Savile, all this other sort of stuff, and that was where this came up. Okay,
cool. Yeah, that's interesting. 'Cause I remember Jimmy Savile from the BBC and all the crazy stuff that was happening with him.
Well, yeah, there were a lot. Yeah, there were just a lot of names that came up, and then Prince Andrew came up as having a connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
that's what was weird about all of this is just you would hear these names pop up, and it all sounded kind of insane, and then you would look into it and find out it's actually true.
Well, what do you think about the Prince Andrew allegations?
The one of the Epstein's victims claims that he was there. Prince Andrew is definitely laying low. There was even that picture that one of the British tabloids posted where it showed him smiling like the day after Jeffrey Epstein
died.
But that could have been anything, right? You never know, but it was definitely weird and peculiar.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, so do you know what all Clinton's involvement with the Epstein stuff was? Was she was there a lot of stuff going on there, collusion between those elites?
That's the problem. Epstein died, and now nobody really knows. I remember Bill Clinton had claimed that he'd only been on the airplane a couple of times, and then it turns out it may have been 26 times. But then the 26 times might have been each leg, so refueling stops, and nobody knew. And unfortunately, it's a great failure of journalism that the media just hasn't been interested at all in asking him about it. I thought that was pretty telling and revealing that they show no interest at all.
Yeah.
I was trying to boost my frequent flyer miles. No, anyway. Really bad Clinton impersonation. Anyway, Mr. Cernovich, I'm a huge fan. The whole thing, you read the news, it's just blowing up with this Trump impeachment and the Biden corruption story. The whole thing is crazy. What is your take on all this?
Yeah, Joe Biden is on video in a way that can't be disputed, claiming that he forced a prosecutor to be fired for $1 billion. And now people are saying it's a conspiracy theory to claim that Joe Biden did a quid pro quo. And in fact, there's more evidence of a quid pro quo as to Biden than there was as to Trump. And with so much of this, we cover this in Hoax the Movie, which people can get at hoaxthemovie.com. But there's no follow-up with the Biden stuff. So maybe the prosecutor was corrupt. Maybe the investigation had been closed. maybe, but the media just tells us we can't talk about this. It's just over. It's a conspiracy theory. The end. And that, again, it's so much in life is what the media won't talk about rather than what they do talk about.
Yeah, that's a good point, because people, aren't going to realize what they're not talking about because they obviously aren't seeing it. And that's why a lot of us here on this show and our viewers appreciate people like you. Even if, you're on the left or the right, doesn't matter. We get to see alternative voices, new voice on social media that aren't held back by the restrictions of these big media giants that will, they'll prevent stuff from getting printed because, political bias, but also because they don't think it's profitable, a whole bunch of other reasons.
Right. And that's too ideological on the mainstream side, and so you have to kind of counterbalance it and find out what's going on. I mean, Trump in a way has been doing that. His video, I think either yesterday morning or this morning,
the Biden ad.
It's done like 7 million views, and that raises again legitimate points. People can argue about it, but we're in a world now where we're supposed to not even be able to have that conversation and talk about it at all.
Yeah, and that ad too that Trump made is killer good. Oh my God. I was watching it, and it's just perfect. His persuasion skills and his team are off the charts. One of the best. I know you and Scott Adams talk about this a lot, how it's just, on another level. And that's just a perfect example of it.
Yeah, they're getting better. They moved on from the conventional, corny, campy political ads of the GOP, because their ads in 2015 and 16 weren't very good.
Yeah.
And as they've kind of watched people online, they learned how to do better videos. They learned on the internet, basically.
Yeah, last question I'll ask about the whole impeachment shenanigans is, like, what do you I look at the Democrats doing this, and I think of all the things they think they can get him on, they think it's this one. Like, why do you think they're, doing this now? Is it, to, be, like give the squad a little something to keep them quiet, or do they actually think they're going to get anything out of this?
You never know when you're going to break someone, and that's why they keep coming in and keep going hard. Is maybe they'll find something. You'll force an error. A lot of it is just like with any kind of game or any kind of sport you can play. Impeachment increases the pace of play as to your opponent, and anytime you're increasing the pace of play, and all this is a game. That's one thing I wish I had learned when I was a much younger person. I would have had a lot less anger. And now where I'm just cynically view this all as a game, and none of these people even care, is they're forcing Trump. They're pushing the pace. They're driving the narrative. They're trying to drive him crazy. And they also don't have any kind of agenda, right?
Yeah.
They have no agenda, no other way to fight him. So what they're doing is they're pandering to their fringe element, to the resistance base, because that's where you're going to get all your money from. We'll see whether it's going to backfire though in the general election. If it doesn't turn up something, it feels to me very much like going all in on poker. If it doesn't lead to impeachment, then Trump's going to win, because they've all looked very ridiculous.
Oh yeah, totally.
And they can't, because it's like they're never going to get the Senate. They're never going to get like this. It would take. I shouldn't say never, but it's like
never say never.
The odds are just so minute. So minute.
Like kind of going back to that whole impeachment thing, like, why do you think they're doing this now out of like all the times to do it? Like, Trump's gonna be up for re-election in like 12 months, something like that. Why are they doing this at the last minute? Is it because all their candidates suck?
Yeah, their candidates suck. They're getting trounced. The front runner was Joe Biden, who doesn't have any kind of chance really against Trump. They weren't accomplishing anything, and they created hysteria over Russiagate that we now know is one of the greatest conspiracy theories of all time, and certainly one of the greatest within my lifetime. And now they have to have something. They can't talk about the issues for 12 months. And besides, the only political issues they care about or want to talk about is pronouns. And I mean, I don't know if you saw that clip of Cory Booker talking to someone where she said, here's my pronouns. And then she said something like, I'm a vegan, something. And he had this like deer in the headlight look, like, oh God, what have we wrought, right? And the whole point of her question was saying, who's the most oppressed? that's where the Democrats are headed to policy-wise, and you can't have that for 12 months. They want to push the agenda, and plus they're very aggressive, and they accuse. That's right out of Alinsky is right. Alinsky says, and other propagandists, other Nazi propagandists that Alinsky no doubt got inspiration from, they would say just accuse, make them deny. So now, yet again, Trump is being forced to deny something untrue. But that's still at least giving the attack and giving the Democrats a reason to attack.
Well, yeah. So I know you brought up Saul Alinsky over there. I read Rules for Radicals a few months ago, and like one of the big things I found on there was use the enemy's their standards against themselves. And you finally see the right starting to do that now, and like this whole cancel culture thing coming out. Like, because I know people, laid criticisms at you for, James Gunn for getting him fired.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that tactic of using the left's own cancel culture against themselves and just cancel culture in general?
If tweets are going to be, if people are going to lose jobs over tweets, then why should the left get a pass for their tweets? They'll go, oh, we were just joking. Well, you said it wasn't a joke if Sean Hannity, or somebody, if somebody like Sean Hannity had tweeted that 10 years ago, you wouldn't be saying it's a joke. But anytime something on the left hits as a joke, I mean, even a more recent experience or example is the Iowa beer guy. He tried to raise beer money and he ended up getting all these donations for a charity. And then a former BuzzFeed reporter who was working at the Des Moines Register found a couple of jokes from the guy when he was 16, and the jokes were even Tosh O references. But in the reporting on the guy who is now 24, Carson King was his name, the reporter left out that, they were Tosh O jokes. So you know how it is. You're watching a comedy special, you're tweeting jokes back and forth on your friends, you're 16, you live your life and you forget you have those tweets. Well, that got reported, and then it turned out that the Des Moines, Iowa reporter had tweets that were way worse than Carson King's, and he had a lot more. And so we reported on it, and he ended up getting fired from the Des Moines Register. But in an article in BuzzFeed, the little crybaby says, oh, my tweets were twisted out of context and used against me by right-wing ideologues. But so when he finds joke tweets from a guy when he was 16, then that's just he's a reporter. But when people like me find tweets from this person when he was working in journalism, Aaron Calvin, I think was his name, then well, that's not reporting. That's just ideologues. And go after yourselves, guys. Go after yourselves. We have to all live by the same rules. And if tweets are newsworthy, then they're newsworthy. If they're not, they're not.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I did see this story, actually. It was from, I think Scott Adams retweeted you on this. And it was, absolutely ridiculous what was happening. And, I read Rules for Radicals too, actually, just over the summer. And I'd say, if anybody doesn't get how the political game works, you got to read that book. Even if you think the tactics are good or bad, these are the tactics people are using. This is how the game is being played. And the Democrats, Hillary Clinton wrote her college thesis on Saul Alinsky. And I bet AOC has read up on Alinsky a lot. And I know you and Scott Adams, I'm going to mention them a lot because you guys point out some, but you guys sort of on the same wavelength on a lot of these things. You were both the first really people to predict AOC would rise to a star level from day one. How do you think she's been doing persuasion and energy-wise right now? And where do you see her going next?
Well, once her handler or whatever left, you notice her tweets don't get much talk anymore, right?
Yeah.
She was the it kid and clapping back, and her Twitter game was so strong. And then a number of people, myself included, started to think that she was she's a great actress, but or a great singer, and she needs somebody to give her the lines and give her the lyrics.
Yeah.
And ever since her chief of staff left, and he was a total, you want to talk about somebody flirting with evil. They both had come out in favor of Stalin tactics, repressive regimes, people who committed all kinds of genocide and atrocities. But I knew that she was a star for a number of reasons. One is it's sort of I don't want to be too solipsistic, but if I'm on my Twitter account and I'm seeing her tweets, then I've already known she's breaking through, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, because I didn't seek her stuff out, and now she's breaking through. And then people are taking the bait in a very predictable way, like, oh, look at how dumb she is. And I would read her tweet and say, actually, no, this isn't dumb. This is because people in politics tend to think that if it's a bad idea, it must be a stupid idea. But these are two different things. Communism is an evil idea, but it isn't a stupid idea because people like AOC want communism so that they can oppress and harm people and put people, so that they can be dictators. So that's not a stupid idea for them. That's a quite good idea. It's a quite intelligent idea. That doesn't mean it's not an evil idea, because it is. So often in politics, people go, oh, that's a dumb idea. This is stupid. This is moronic. You're like, no, actually, they're playing you and they're drawing you out to get you to amplify their message, knowing that some percentage of your followers are going to like them. And then mimetically, they're getting this kind of notoriety. And her tweets were amazing. But then her chief of staff left, and now you hardly ever see them.
Yeah, and I noticed too, because I'd say on this show millions of times, but guys, this girl ain't stupid. Don't underestimate her. And when I heard her say at the border, she said that the detainees there in the ICE facilities were drinking out of toilets. That just put my antennas right up. I knew that is engineered. That is totally visual, strong persuasion. That is stuff that's killer.
Yeah, these people.
Yeah, it was a good visual, and it was what frustrates conservatives is that it's a lie. But I feel like very frustrated with conservatives who are frustrated. It's like a turtles all the way down, right? It's frustration all the way down. Like, this is what they do. They lie. This is what they do. This is the way they play the game. And then meanwhile, conservatives are crying about Trump being too mean. And I said, no, Trump is playing the game like they play the game. They play the game still even dirtier than Trump does. And they're saying, yeah, drinking from toilets. And then you find out, no, actually, there's a water fountain attached to it. It's a different description, but doesn't matter. The damage is done. People are radicalized, and people are going to – there was a guy, for example, in Washington who was trying to commit a terrorist attack on ICE, was trying to do a mass shooting, it appears, but he was stopped before he could really do full damage. You don't hear the media talking about that, right? No. There's all these stories, or even on the East Coast – the 3 members of Antifa were arrested for attacking United States Marines. And when they attacked one United States Marine, they called them SP blank C, which is a very bad racial slur for Hispanics. Yep. And no media coverage. It got like a little local press. Could you imagine if three members of the Proud Boys or 3 members of the College Republicans had attacked Marines and used that kind of racial language? And the irony, of course, too, is one of the people – you can't script this unless we do live in a simulation, in which case it is all scripted. Is one of the men who was arrested, a white man who called the Marine the racial slur, ran a D.C. account, a prominent account that cooperated with members of the local media and national media, and it was Smash Racism D.C. And now Smash Racism DC, bro, is facing criminal hate charges against a Hispanic Marine.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Proud Boys defend themselves, and they're facing 15, 20 years in prison.
Right, and that's the problem, too, and that's how dishonest it all is, because if you don't read me, you wouldn't even know. I found the guy's name, Joseph Alkoff. You wouldn't even know that these people existed and that they were arrested.
Yeah.
Even though it is, and this is quite egregious behavior. And then, of course, when the Proud Boys get into mutual combat with Antifa, Antifa shows up and the Proud Boys fight them back. Yeah. And then somehow the Proud Boys become the hate group. And then what Antifa does gets ignored. And then you fight, or even now the ADL is saying the Antifa, they said Antifa confronts white supremacists. No, that isn't what they do. Yeah. They go looking for fights. They protest Dinesh D'Souza. Yep. They protest any kind of conservative thing. And that information then, though, of course, is all laundered up the charts. So then when Proud Boys get into a mutual combat situation with Antifa, people who don't really understand these issues go, oh, gosh, the Proud Boys, are they – they must be like the Hells Angels on steroids. And you realize, no, it's just a drinking club, and they, would get fights with Antifa when Antifa started those fights. So.
Yep.
Well, let me throw a little side note in here. So I like to drive to like upstate New York because I like to go see friends. Yeah. And so I cross. So one of the things I do is I cross the Tappan Zee Bridge, right? So and I've done this for years. But anyway, I recently did it, and I noticed that they changed the name of the bridge to Governor. Check this out, Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge. Right? That's his dad. Right? Yeah. That's the current governor's dad. I was like, look, so Tappan Zee is named after like Native American, like the Tappan Zee Native Americans. So it's like, oh, screw these Native Americans. I'm gonna name this after my pop. Anyway, sorry about that. I digress. So this impeachment thing. So the whole impeachment thing, I kind of think it's a method for the Democrats to kind of indirectly take out Biden. For me, because I don't think that you can do this inquiry without, because too many people are going to dig up Biden. They're going to dig up his history. They're going to dig it up. They're going to blow it up. Nobody's going to let that go. Even if MSNBC and CNN turn a blind eye to it, there's too many people that are just going to like throw it in front of the media. Anyway. Who do you see as a front runner to lose to Trump in 2020?
I thought the media, well, not that I thought, I knew for a fact the media wanted Kamala Harris, but I didn't see that happening. And I thought Warren was going to get it, and I still do think that Warren is going to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking Kamala Harris for the longest time because she had the right donors, she had the media backing her, and she had the right demographics, check boxes all checked. And Warren, I guess maybe they're going to have to push her now because Kamala's campaign has fallen so much apart. Unless they're going to swing her in as a VP, I mean, I think they're changing their strategy right now.
I don't think that Warren's going to do too well. Like, you've seen Trump already has the nicknames for her.
Yeah, Pocahontas.
Like, she has so much dirt. And, like, I heard there was a story that, like, all the Democrats, like, really top people on Wall Street, they would not donate to her campaign because of what she was saying about some of these taxes she was proposing. Like, it's insane. Like, the only one I think who would actually have a decent chance against Trump would probably be Yang. And I still think he would lose face down because no one's going to support, like, paying people $1,000 a month. But you get enough people out there who go and sit and watch anime all day that probably would enjoy something like that.
But Alex, what about Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, do you think Bernie sold out, Cernovich?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think Bernie. I don't think Bernie sold out. I think he hit his maximum exposure. He hit maximum name recognition, and there was no other way for him to go. So So Trump, for example, if Trump hadn't been a worldwide phenomenon known by everybody before he ran, he would not have won.
Yep.
And Yang is not going to be known enough. And that's why they have all these polling requirements. The media in collusion with the DNC, they're trying to make it hard for people like Tulsi Gabbard or Andrew Yang to get any kind of interest about them or any kind of notoriety about them. So then they have to know who you are. And then they have to like your ideas. Well, Bernie was a known entity, maxed out. Everybody knew who he was from the last race. Everybody knew his ideas, and that's why he hasn't been going up. Because what reason was there for him to go up? Elizabeth Warren wasn't nearly as well known as Bernie Sanders. She got a little bit of attention during the bailouts in 2012. In her Senate run, she got a good amount of press, but not that saturation press where everybody knows who you are and everybody knows what you're about. And now that she's getting that, the media, and of course that's why they tried to give that to Kamala Harris. I give an example of, there was a guy, Ali Alexander, on Twitter who tweeted out something about her background, and I won't say it because I don't want to get your radio station flagged, but it was just along the lines of Kamala Harris used to advertise herself as the first Indian American senator, and that was her thing. And then she switched and pivoted to, play up the really high African American angle, even though she grew up in Canada. So anyway, very complicated, but it wasn't the kind of comment on Twitter that should have got media saturation coverage. They covered it for 9 days.
Yeah. Every
network, some obscure, relatively speaking, I mean, it's not obscure, but that certainly was worthy of saturation coverage, but that was the media's way to try to put her over. Oh, we have an excuse to talk about Kamala. Let's talk about her for 9 days in a row. But people weren't interested in her and her ideas, and everybody gets the sense that she was an evil person. She kept innocent people in on death row, and you just get the feeling that, okay, she's not gonna go rise up either. But Warren can.
Yeah.
I mean, Biden still might. Yeah, senile, but he's still in it.
They'll push him there, even if he's in a wheelchair. They'll still roll him in. But I've noticed that both you and Scott Adams have talked about this huge energy shift that's happening. It's either already happened or it's still in the process of happening. What is the energy shift? What does it mean for America? And, what are your final just sort of projections of, beyond Trump era?
That's a great question. I've been talking to a lot of friends about that too. It was about a year ago, and a lot of people I talked to independently noticed really strange feelings, sensations, body ache. Something just felt off. And I'm not a superstitious person. I'm not a religious person. In fact, I grew up religious and believe things. You believe what you're indoctrinated into as a child. Yeah. So I'm like the least superstitious person in the world. And then like 40, I'm 42, I guess, pretty soon. I started to just feel weird like a year and a half ago. And a bunch of other people just like me, they're like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of this stuff. I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in Marianne Williamson. I don't believe in anything, right? Everybody just like felt off. And then you had all these strange things like Kanye West coming in with the MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Right? What the hell? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
How did that happen? And then you notice increased radicalization, polarization, which is happening. More kind of terrorism, more people losing their minds because in an energy shift, and I call it that just for lack of a better word, but people do begin to lose their minds. And Antifa certainly has lost their minds, but on the other hand, there were people losing their minds. The Christchurch shooting, the synagogue shooting in Pennsylvania. There was a El Paso. So people are losing their minds in very bad ways. So people who are in tune, I think, to this energy, but are a little bit more mentally rigorous or strong, are going to feel just a little bit off. And that's how I felt, and that's how a lot of people, Scott Adams himself and other people who have, again, not superstitious people, we're not people who are even religious at all, just fell off. And then when you see all these things happening where people are just completely losing their minds, the energy shift starts to sound a little bit less weird and a little less superstitious.
So it's basically a shift towards clown world.
Well, it's a shift towards something, but we don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shift in, the unconscious, collective unconscious mind. We do know, for example, that because energy shift is hard. It's kind of like gravity, where gravity is there, but what is gravity really? You can define it. You can write it. You can write an equation. You can do your math for it in physics. You can make all your predictions on it. And the same is true in a way of energy. Like, what is it? You can kind of feel it. You can notice it, for example, or the effects of it. For example, there have been great. It was the revival. George Whitefield did these huge mass revivals. And you notice there's these major popular delusions, major popular trends. So right now, the world's going to end in 12 years. Sure. And these people believe it, and they're breaking down. And it's like a mass hysteria. Even though whatever your opinions are of climate change, the world's not ending in 12 years. You shouldn't be telling kids this. So there's something behind that in some way that we collectively and all at once tend to believe something. And because now the way media is fragmented, different people believe different things, but the energy is underneath it all.
Wow, that's an absolutely perfect way to end it. Where can everybody find you, Cernovich, at?
Well, the best thing they should do is watch my movie, hoaxedmovie.com, HOAXEDMOVIE.com, and, get a feeling for what we're talking about, just media's narrative, and even in people listening in who are lefty, we made the film for everybody. So I've had a lot of people who are going in there with one expectation, and they're pleasantly surprised that it's a little bit different.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Cernovich, for coming on. We had a great time with you on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thank you. Have a nice day.
See ya.
Bye. Oh my God. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. What'd you guys think of it?
That was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think we're getting really good at this stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, oh no, I missed the introduction.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why, because I think when I picked up the call from him, it moved me over to that call, so I had to add you. But once I did, it was good. But yeah.
Like, who's this random guy over here just asking stuff?
Well, I hope he assumed that it was like, a co-host, but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, you have to assume that there's going to be more than one person that's going to be on this radio show. Like, it's really not very. I don't know. Like, if you're doing a radio show, it's kind of off if you just do it by yourself.
Yeah, unless you're Alex Jones.
Well, speaking of, like, doesn't Mike Cernovich do a show with him?
He sometimes appears on InfoWars. I don't know if he does I don't think he does an actual show, but he does appear on InfoWars.
Maybe he could help us get in touch with him so we could.
I would love it. I would love it if Alex Jones came on this show. I would scream. I would scream.
Yeah, that would be so funny. Oh my God, we'd have to probably hit the dump button a lot. Mm-hmm. Because Alex, like, even though he knows he's on radio or, whatever.
He's on radio shows for a while. Like, I think if he knows he's on radio, he knows how to work that stuff.
Yeah, but he'll still, like, curse and stuff and, like, do stuff that we can't do on the radio.
Well, we got a dump button.
That's true.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll roll with it.
Yeah, we will. Oh, boy.
Take a dump once in a while.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was cool. But
If we don't control for that double entendre.
What?
Everyone has to take a dump once in a while.
Oh, we've only gotten in trouble for one double entendre, and we all know which one that is.
But dude, you hear what's going on with that, like, one rapper dude, that 6ix9ine? And he's ratting on everybody.
Well, what? What did he do?
Just started ratting on people.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
So he's like a meme sensation now. Like, they're dropping memes of, like, there's one meme of 6ix9ine going, and there's Waldo, and then he points to where Waldo is in the picture. It's funny. It's just like,
I first thought you were referring to, what was it, the one that died recently, like Exion something.
Tenation.
I don't know these rappers. I'm not gonna lie. I only know Kanye, and Kanye did like a surprise concert last night in Detroit. If you all saw that, and he's gonna drop his new album "Jesus Is King" on Sunday. Is Kanye trying to bring religion back in America?
Yeah, a lot of these rappers, like, they have some semblance of some religion somewhere at some point. Except for that other guy, that Tekashi dude's like a pedophile. Like, he's a convicted pedophile.
Oh God.
Yes, I mean, that's funny. He's getting out of prison soon, but he doesn't want to be put on that that list where, like, you go into hiding, because he really can't. He's got, like, tattoos on his face. He looks like one of those, like, bear things, like, from the 90s. those doodle bears.
Yeah.
Like, the dude has, like, rainbow colored, like, wig. He's got, like, rainbow colored teeth. He's got, like, tattoos on his face. Like, he's gonna get shot, I think. Like, I'm not saying I condemn that, but, like, he almost got, like, attacked at the airport one day because people were accusing him, like, they didn't like him because he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, ratting on people. He was in the Bloods, I think, the 9 Trey Bloods. Like, it's some pretty crazy stuff going on with him.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep looking into this stuff and follow it. Interestingly enough, we had last week's guest bump into the studio, made a surprise visit. So Phil here got to meet Cosmic Rebecca IRL. How was it?
Seems interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So Might have her on again. We'll see. Can't make any promises because we have a busy schedule coming up with guests pretty much every week. So we'll see what happens.
You know, if she does show up, we need to have Big Al call in again.
Yeah, Big Al.
That dude was a blast.
Big Al was trying to make some moves on her on the phone.
Hey,
I
can't
mean,
be mad. Can't be mad at the guy. Look, he's just trying to, trying to get his. I can't be mad at him.
I can't be either. But it was just, it was a real news first. It was a first.
It is hard to find a lady as a full-time truck driver. If you're in a truck all day, you can't really go out to the bars that much because you got to drive.
He's a busy man. He was probably calling in while I was on the road.
Yeah.
That's why the phone sounds so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's some crazy stuff, man. That Big Al.
Yeah. I saw him actually message Cosmic Rebecca on Twitter. He was tweeting at her.
Yeah.
The guy won't stop.
Well, I mean, he tried once. Okay.
I know, but he's persistent. He's not giving up.
Well, in some instances you have to be look.
I
some
know.
people just, you gotta, because some people want you to kind of look, because
they want to see the effort.
If you quit on the first try, look, it
shows that you really aren't
aren't invested.
Yeah.
You're not as invested as you should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll keep everybody up to date on that because it's interesting seeing the dynamics that unfold on this show. We have very unique guests, very unique callers, and other opportunities. And speaking of callers, if you want to call into the show, you can call in at 814-865-9577, and we can have a conversation, talk about whatever you want, discuss the Cernovich interview and more. Again, 814-865-9577. Call in to Real News to dive into whatever waters you want to dive into.
Well, speaking of crazy people, do you see that warning that U.S. Army issued about possible mass shootings by incels?
Oh, for the Joker movie?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. These incels are becoming a real problem out there. How do we...
They say that Joker movie is like a incel movie. It's sort of it paints us from what I've heard from some early reviewers that Joker starts off as basically an incel that goes radical. He gets radicalized and
up.
incels rise up and he starts like an incel rebellion. I could be wrong. I'm actually probably going to see the movie on my birthday since it comes out a few days after. I'm a huge Batman fan, a huge Joker fan, but not going to lie, I still don't want this movie to exist because I think it's dumb having a Joker origin story, but I'm open-minded. I'm hearing good things, but I'm also hearing some stuff that's saying it's got a little liberal bent to it. I'm hearing that, it's this, F the rich sort of thing, screw the rich, and he sort of rises up, and apparently he starts, they cut welfare, and so his benefits, for his, I think, schizophrenia or whatever, disease he has or mental illness he has starts, getting worse because he can't get his meds. So I'm starting to get the feeling that it might have some, a leftist angle to it.
Well, surprise, surprise, it's a mentally ill leftist who, who gets radicalized. I've never heard that before.
Oh, so is this an Antifa movie?
Yeah, that's probably what's more likely instead of necessarily just an incel movie. It's you're going to take that red pill.
Well, what's the difference between the incels and Antifa?
Pill. Well, not all incels are Antifa. I've known a bunch of them. They're actually right wing. They'll go on 4chan and 8chan. They'll be posting.
But are all Antifa incels? That's the question.
No, you get some strange ones. You get a lot of gay Antifa, I imagine, gender queer, all those.
That's true. I forgot.
Sort of things. And you get your other ones who are just beta. Not all beta people are incels. Especially these days, you have so many dating apps out there. It's really not that hard to find a woman if you know how to, if you have low enough standards.
Yeah. I know. I've dabbled in those dating apps. I know what you mean. But yeah, you do have to lower your standards if you want to, 9 times out of 10, get some through a dating app, because it's usually, if you're going to have high standards, you're going to go left the entire time. Swiping left, that is, not going politically left, but there are probably a lot of left-wing people on those. Or if you're a guy, you're just swiping right on everything and just hoping whatever happens.
But, okay, so with the Joker movie, okay, two things real quick. One, the Joker movie, I am going to see it because it's directed by Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, so guy who made Old School, guy who made The Three Hangovers and Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
So at least there's going to be a little bit of a humor.
Oh, there's definitely going to be comedy, yeah.
And he would probably be one of the right people to do that, like for somebody of the Joker character.
And Joaquin Phoenix is playing the Joker. He's been in a few things. I forget what he's in, but I have seen him and stuff. I personally think I still think Heath Ledger's is going to be the best Joker ever. I don't think anything's ever going to top that. I think this will probably be like the second best. That's just my guess. But some people might say Nicholson's the second best.
And two, speaking of Cosmic Rebecca, Big Al dropped a tweet.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Whoa.
He said,
Alert.
yeah, like breaking news. Breaking news.
Live.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Sean, if
he's listening.
Yeah, if Cosmic Rebecca comes on the show again, I will call in again. Such a swell lady she is. Look, see?
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to have her come back on then. Because we saw her. She gave me a book, actually. I'm not even kidding you. She gave me Nigel Farage's books, or a book about Nigel Farage. I can't look inside it, apparently, so she put a rubber band around it.
There we go.
So I can't look inside, but I do have it. And we'll see what we can do. It's just, I told her I was trying, because she came in like 5 minutes before the show. I was like, we're busy. We got to get the show going. We got Cernovich coming on. I didn't want to dismiss her, but we had to move, get the show going, literally. We had to get the show on the road. Wow. Man, sorry, I'm still processing. This whole entire day has been just a big rush. Just move. Actually, you know what I'll talk about? I just remembered something super important that's happening tomorrow. How could we forget?
Yeah.
There is the Service Members United 5K run happening in State College. Registration for this race that benefits veterans. All proceeds go to the State College VFW. It's going to be, registration starts at 9 and the actual race starts at 10. Dictator and Phil and I are going to be there. I'm going to be there as part of Turning Point, USA at Penn State. I'm the president, and I want the club to give back this year a lot. That was one of my big initiatives. So, going to show up to the race, and also to help our good friend Robert Morris, who is a amazing guy, veteran, Army Ranger, terrific guy that's putting this on. Because there was normally Penn State, people in the Penn State community will know there's a 9/11 run happens every year. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good support for veterans and service members. But this year it's not happening. So Rob said, hey, why don't I do it myself? Why don't we do our own thing? That's what we're doing. And it's going to be so cool. That's coming up tomorrow. So if you want to participate in that race, you want to help the veterans, help the community, help the VFWs, please come out. We would love the support. It would be a lot of fun. It's a great cause, and it's going to be awesome. Do you have anything to say? Sorry.
Thanks, Heroes, for dropping the ball on the Heroes run.
Wow, wouldn't be the first time, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I want to be careful because I don't want to misrepresent anyone, but to my knowledge, I know that Rob has reached out to the CRs multiple times, and the CRs finally did say they would help out with this event. But that's it. It's kind of like, hey, we'll help out. But nothing else has happened since then. So hopefully they show up tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Oh, we also got into some little drama on Twitter. I'm going to talk more about this later. But again, with some people calling out Turning Point and the CRs are getting into it. I think this is more important than Trump impeachment inquiry, Greta Thunberg, which we will be talking about. What's more important now than any of that is that the president of Barstool Sports has challenged the Penn State College of Com dean to a debate. Now, this is over some comments she made in an NBC article. I will read the comments once I pull them up. But she is getting under fire by him and a bunch of other people on Instagram for what she said. And I heard about this from somebody in GroupMe. One of our TPOSA members messaged me and said, "Hey, can we talk about this at the beginning?" I'm like, "Of course we can," because Barstool Sports, for anybody that doesn't know, it's basically if a frat boy made a site about drinking and sports and male fun, like it's like one big fratty thing, that's basically Barstool Sports. You can like that, hate that. Look, I'm not in a frat. I don't even drink, as many frequent listeners will know, but I still think Barstool Sports is perfectly fine. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't, and I don't see them doing anything bad. Now, what the Penn State dean was saying was, still trying to find because this article's so long. What she was saying was absolutely ridiculous because she was trying to say that it's a conservative, or has a political bent to it. She said, and this is an NBC article, she said, quote, "Conservative ideology appears to be a core part of Barstool Sports, especially its portrayal of gender roles with hyper-masculine, sports-loving men and hypersexualized, submissive women. The site's reinforcement of conservative American values is what makes its content stand out from its competitors," Marie Harden, dean of Penn State's Donald P. Bell Sario College Communications said. And then she also said, quote, "In many ways, Barstool has resisted some of the more progressive discourse around sports, and I think there's a niche for that." She said, "There's a market there, and they're able to capture that." How is Barstool conservative? They don't talk about politics, and sports is for men and women. What? I don't get what she's, upset about here.
I think she's just trying to tie. I think there's just trying to tie something political to something that they view as masculine. And I don't know. It's not. It's not. It's sports. It's sports. They cover sports, and yes, they do. Yes, there's some drinking, and yes, there's some, there's some social stuff there. But for the most part, it's sports. Everybody that follows sports, there's a wide variety of people that follow sports. It's not just women with in sexualized positions or whatever. It's look, it's a whole bunch of people, and you ever go to a bar, there's just a whole bunch of people. It's not just one person, it's not just one political party, it's not just one, it's so crazy. What she said was so out there, and it's well,
and a lot of people agree with you. And there's going to be a lot of people agree with her too on the left, definitely. But so what I thought would be good was we have the debate like he challenged her to. Yeah. And so on Twitter, on the TPOSA Penn State Twitter, I threw out there an offer. I said, "Hey, we'll host a debate. We'll do it. We'll run the whole thing. Yeah. We'll get going. You don't have to do anything. Just got to show up. We can agree to some terms," which I think is great. We'll have civil discord, and on top of it, because the Barstool Sports guy one-upped the whole thing by saying if she accepts the debate author, he'll donate $20,000 thon to help cancer kids. Yeah. Love it. There's only good that can come out of this. Yeah. Only great things. $20,000 is a lot of money, and it can help a lot of people. So guess what he did? After I tweeted this out, he replied to us within a few minutes, and he said, "I'm in. Yeah. We'll do it." She, and then I added her and asked her if she'd be in. I got no reply. Yeah. So we emailed her. We're going to see what she says. And I just told her, I said, "Look, we don't have to agree to debate now. Let's just meet up. Let's just meet. Let's talk about it. Because I want to make this happen. A lot of people want to make this happen. I know Thon wants to make this happen. It'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun. And let's think even bigger picture. This could become a yearly event. Every year we get $20,000 more for Thon. That'd be awesome. And people are going to come and they're going to donate. We're going to get more than $20,000. It's just, it can become such a big event.
The possibilities are there. I mean,
but
there's
always a but.
The comms professor would probably not gain very much from all of this. I'm just saying. look, it's a good thing. Like, look, we're trying to get a debate. We're trying to get all this, we're trying to make all this happen. But I could see why Miss Professor would be a little reluctant to go through with something like this. Because if she got, like, say we had this debate and then she got owned or something, like it would be nightmarish for her. Like,
yeah, but she would gain the opportunity to help fun kids.
She would gain the opportunity of getting destroyed.
Hey, look, destroyed in the name of helping cancer kids.
Yeah, no, she wants to keep her.
Hey, but here's the thing.
She's probably going to want to keep her dignity intact.
And I'll let Alex get in on this too, because I know he's got something to say. The last thing I'll say is that, look, if you're going to say something to NBC, one of the biggest news outlets in the world where everybody's going to see it, you should be able to defend it. You know, that's what I'm always taught. Is if you're going to say something, you should be able to defend it. You should be able to back it up.
Yeah.
And if you can't, don't say it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So what she said was that they're inherently political, right?
Mm-hmm. She said they have political, like, ideology in it. Well, conservative ideology.
I don't, like, I would, well, technically, actually, I think she could theoretically be correct in that because, and now hear me out, I think the left has gone so nutty that stuff, 10, 20 years ago that both, you people who have sports and believe that masculine men are a thing and don't hate masculinity, I think it's now become so politically charged, the left, that you can't even be traditionally masculine and still be on the left, theoretically. It has gone so crazy that something that would be considered apolitical at any other point in history is now considered conservative. Because look, the bathrooms are now a political statement. You see a male bathroom, that's a political statement. Everything has become politicized, and it's the exact result of the left. It's not a conservative bias, it's a non-radical leftist bias. And I think, and that's not a problem, because I think a lot of things are really, technically biased if you put in that respect. The bathrooms are biased. Everything's biased because they don't cater to the whims of the left. Like, if it would cater to the whims of the left, it wouldn't be fun. You have ESPN. ESPN is overtly leftist. And, that's, I think, what they consider apolitical, because they don't see, kowtowing to the left as being political. They see, just that's how they expect everyone to do things.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, too. Barstool's, sports, I guess you say the culture it represents. It represents college culture, but it represents and again, I don't like drinking, but it represents fun to a lot of people, because they share videos of people at college having fun drinking, and women too having fun drinking, guys and gals, all this sort of stuff. It's not it's not like they're because she kind of says they're making women, they're pushing the idea of submissive women, but they're really just sharing a lot of other people's content, a lot of things that people choose to do, and they just sort of share. Like, if you look on Instagram, it's basically just they're sort of reposting Snapchats basically, or Snapchat stories. And I mean, the way I look at it is, if conservative ideology is now about being the fun side, if you're being fun, if you're being just a typical college kid, then I guess that's what conservatism is now. Am I wrong? Is that what it is now? Maybe she's right.
I just think that, they've gone so far left that, everything's right. Everything that's not overtly left is right to them.
Yeah. And
that's there was a term for that. I forget. I know Mr. Macker brought this up before. Any organization that's not, their basic founding principle is to be something right-leaning will inherently turn left. And since this isn't turning left as much as they'd like it, they consider it right-wing because of that.
Well, yeah, and also because the right is all about tradition and whatnot. And I'd love to have a debate to know her full thoughts on this, but I think when you see men doing manly things in sports and women doing womanly things in sports, that in some people's minds looks like traditional gender roles, even though it's completely normal what people are doing on Barstool sports stuff. And so that's how they go, oh, this must be conservative. Oh, they don't have any transgender people. Oh, they don't have any non-binaries. Oh, they're not mixing men and women in sports. I think that's where this is coming from. Could be wrong, but that's just a guess.
Well, I think that like there's inherent like anti-leftist, anti-far left, anti-super like communist, socialist left, like leaning towards in sports. Because just look at it, like how you mentioned transgenders in sports. Like if you oppose that, and there's many reasons why someone who believes in sports would oppose that. There's going to be a problem because that's what their ideology asks for.
Yeah.
So if you like sports, you can't be a super, super leftist. Like, you can always be, just generally left-leaning person, have views which, 10 years ago would be considered, moderate left, but now that almost be considered like a centrist view.
Yeah. Well, and I think Dave Portnoy, because he went on Tucker Carlson like a few days ago, and that's how this all kind of got started. I bet he's conservative. Don't get me wrong. I bet he's conservative. But I don't see his conservatism bleeding into his company necessarily. I mean, I don't see the company being about conservatism. I don't see Barstool Sports being about conservatism. Even though she says conservative ideology is at its core, I just don't see that. I just see sports and drinking at its core, which is...
Well, I think in that regards too, like I think fraternities, they'd call like any fraternity, like unless it'd be like a black-only fraternity or black-only sorority or something along the lines of that, and they do have those.
Yes, they do.
They would probably consider, the vast majority of just plain old fraternities to be right wing because it's men who congregate and it's a male only space, and the only people who are allowed to have spaces dedicated to themselves would be like women and LGBT and racial minorities.
Well, see, the way I look at it is, every sort of, I could say, group does like to have their own space. You have the LGBT people will have clubs around their identity and their things. You have women around, like women in politics, women in this, women in that, women in sports. So women have their own little space. Guys, they can have their own space too, right? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with people having their own space. And for the longest time, that was the norm. Like, you'd have men's clubs that weren't, gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah.
Like they actually had real gentlemen's clubs. You'd have fraternal organizations. You still see them every now and again, but like they're demonized so much.
Yeah, like the Proud Boys.
Yeah, but you'll see universities, they'll have, like racial only like dorms. Like I don't know if Penn State has that, but I know a bunch of other universities have like a, like you can graduate with, lavender, or you can graduate with all these other things based on whatever, marginalized class you consider yourself to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I just kind of think they're trying to destroy the like not even white identity, just like, male identity with this stuff. And by giving I guess the white male identity, by giving everyone else who's not one of those two things their own, not both of those, their own separate thing. And, it's kind of crazy they're doing that.
And I like to add, too, that even though Turning Point's going to be hosting this or wants to host this debate, I know for a fact people that know nothing about Turning Point, don't care about Turning Point, don't even like Turning Point, they're going to show up to this thing. This is a big deal in college. Barstool Sports has millions of followers. The Penn State one specifically, Barstool Sports at Penn State, has hundreds of thousands of followers. People are going to show up for this. I mean, we could fill Eisenhower Auditorium of 2,500 people easily. We might have to upgrade to the PJC because people would come out for this because this is a core part of college culture. And if the Dean of College Communications is listening to this, I just have a simple message for you. And just let's have a meeting. Let's talk. It's that simple. I mean,
Call in. Look,
at 814-865-9577.
Yeah, we're agreeable. We're agreeable
reasonable
people.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not even a hard-line, far-right conservative. You guys were, going after me hard for my anti-vaping stance the other week. I mean, and I'm not saying that to try to look fair or play even or any of that. I'm just saying I'm reasonable. I'll look at both sides. I'll hear you out. And we just want to host a debate. We don't even want to take a stance. We don't want to do anything other than host it. And I think it would be very fun. It'd be great for everyone. It'd be fabulous. It'd be fun. It'd be just the best thing ever. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But let's at least talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Nothing bad can come out of conversation. It only pushes things forward. It only makes things better. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's a petition online now where, I think it's at over 100 people sign it. They want the debate to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to be a popular event. It's going to be a great event. It'll be great for Penn State and beyond. So let's just talk. My exec board, Turning Point USA, is more than welcome to talk. Let's just talk. Any other comments?
No, I think that's a great idea. I think it'd be wonderful to have a debate, and I'm surprised that, they'd object to that.
Let's talk about the big story of the week, which, of course, we talk about our big story near the end here because we had a whole bunch of other cool stuff happening. Trump is getting the impeachment inquiry, I guess we're going to call it for now.
Yeah.
He's getting it already. We're approaching the election, and it's happening. Nancy Pelosi launched the impeachment inquiry this week, and it was over a phone call did with the president of Ukraine, where they claim originally, this is what they originally claimed, that Trump had made basically a quid pro quo with him. Quid pro quo. I keep screwing that term up. Where they said, he was talking to the president of Ukraine, and he was asking him to do a favor and to investigate Biden and Biden's son over what was happening there, which is really complicated, and I still really don't fully understand it. Because basically some sort of investigation sounded like it was dropped or a prosecution was dropped. I don't know why. You can fact check me on that. So the transcripts got released. Trump released them, and it showed there was no quid pro quo. Nothing. None. Zero. Zip. Of course, that's not what the Democrats are saying, but you read the transcript, it's not there. It just isn't. I literally think these people are imagining it. And now Trump is claiming the whistleblower had political bias and was, in favor of rival candidates. So we're going to see what happens, but this is insanely stupid what's happening.
Yeah. So we'll try to explain it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hunter Biden, the youngest son of Joe Biden, I think he's the youngest son. Anyway,
I think so.
So he took a board job with Burisma Holdings, which is like a natural gas company in Ukraine. He took a board job where he was making $50,000 a month or something like that, and he's young. He's like just out of college. That whole thing, the reasoning for him getting into the board was kind of questionable because he was still young, kind of not that long out of college. He was kicked out of the Navy Reserves for testing positive for cocaine. It was like the whole thing was just like, it was sketchy. It was like, okay, you clearly only got this job because your last name is Biden, while Biden was still vice president of the United States. So the lead prosecutor, which would be like a DA here in Ukraine, was going to investigate Burisma Holdings and particularly Hunter Biden and the associations tied to it. And Joe Biden basically said, we're going to block your $1 billion foreign aid unless you fire this lead prosecutor. So sure enough, they fired this lead prosecutor and the whole thing ended up disintegrating. So that's the story behind that. And so Donald Trump wanted to basically, I guess he was looking, what they're saying is he called the president of the Ukraine to say, hey, I would like it if you investigated this situation, which, if it's true, while it would be borderline unprofessional, it's not illegal. Not illegal, and completely warranted because, let's be real, it's kind of dirty. If it's true, it's dirty, right? It's seriously dirty. And so that's where we're at. They're impeaching Trump for quid pro quo but Joe Biden basically did the same thing and then bragged about it.
And it's on video.
It's on video.
Yes. And again, there's a Trump ad out about this that shows him bragging about it. It's just the most, like, I can't say the word on air, so I'm trying to find a better word, but it's like the most, I can't even think of a word. Crazy evidence that you could get. Like, it's so, it's sticky.
That's crazy. Like, there's no reason other than by the coattails of Joe Biden and Obama that his son is working in that position, making that kind of money.
Yeah.
Like, how many people who got kicked out of the military for doing drugs find themselves, in a foreign power, working with, a different country, doing that level of stuff? Like, what qualifications does he have for that job? Like, that should be a crazy shame on Joe Biden for allowing that, for causing that to happen. No, there's no excuse for it. There is no excuse except for the left doesn't want to hear it because, it's Trump's fault for, trying to get to the bottom of clearly illegal activity on behalf, of Hunter Biden and probably through the means of Joe Biden. Like, this is a legitimate story and, something that should be investigated. Like, and look what Obama did to Trump, too. Like, he paid a foreign power, where they colluded with the British government to go and try to, like, a British secret operative to go and get dirt on Trump. But, that's okay. Even though, and the thing is, too, like, Joe Biden isn't even like a presidential, like, front runner right now. He's probably not going to get that nomination because he's got some dirt on him. He's not even the nominee. So, like, and it's his son, too. And, Obama did all that same stuff to all of Trump's kids, but no one's talking about it.
And I love how they're getting Trump not on Russia stuff, on Ukraine. That's where they're going now. Like, Russia failed. It was a total hoax, total failure. So now they're moving to the next country over, Ukraine, and trying to get him on that. I think they're a mess. Okay. I'm trying to remove bias from this, trying to remove all my political views from it, and just look at a strategic, objective standpoint. This is just a dumb play. It's dumb. I don't even think Nancy Pelosi had the transcript. She might have. Somebody in the DNC might have said, hey, this is what Trump said on the phone, and we've seen the transcript. It's possible, but I don't really think. I mean, they put they put all their chips down on this. And it was a stupid time to do it, unless they think this is the best they're going to get. But to me, it was really stupid, really bad play. It's going to blow up.
I think this could be calculated. They're trying, like I said before, I think they're trying to take Biden out of the frame.
Well, they've been trying the whole time. If you watch CNN,
this would do it, right? Because it would give them the leverage. It would give them enough leverage to take Biden out of the race without implicating anybody like anybody in the media, because everybody else, all the small media they're not gonna shut up about this. They're already like look how much information. All I did was listen to YouTube videos and I figured all this mess out. I'm like, look, they're not gonna let this go, and yeah, it's gonna wreck Biden.
Oh yeah,
they don't, and they know because look, they know they can't. They're not going to be able to affect Trump really at all. Because if you're gonna try to like impeach him and then try to like remove him, it's never gonna happen. No. You're never gonna have the Senate to be able to pull it off, and I just think this was strategic in that, like, a long-term play, because they don't want Biden. Like, they don't want Biden to be the front runner or the nominee. So, but they don't want like MSNBC or CNN or anybody like that to put a smear job on Joe Biden. So they'll do this knowing that everybody else will push Biden out of the door, and then.
And that's what they've wanted the whole time. If you watch CNN, they were always going after Biden and trying to prop up Kamala. Yeah. I think you're going to see a shift where they try to prop up Warren or somebody else and try to get Biden out of the picture. Yeah. On top of this, I think... Oh, God, I lost my train of thought. I'm sick, so my mind is, like, not working these past few days. But I'll think of it later.
But this is it's going to be it's going to galvanize. And here's the thing: what if? And here's the thing. Another thing to look at: what if Biden still wins the nomination?
That'd be
like
funny.
that's the worst thing. The worst thing that could happen to the Democrats really would be Biden still winning the nomination, because nobody's going to let this go. Nobody's going to let this go. And Trump is going to have he's going to ride this thing for everything it's worth. And he'll get he'll definitely get reelected.
Well, the thing is, like, he's got so much baggage, not even this included.
Yeah.
Like, look at all the stuff that happened, like they call him like a segregationist and all this other stuff. Like, he's got a lot of baggage for him, and he's really not gonna, like, you know, get the base up, because like a lot of these people, you know, there's minorities out there who will vote for someone just because they're as influential as them. You know.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, like, the Trump campaign has raised, I think it's probably more now, I think it was like $15 million since this thing started. They raised because of this. This is helping Trump so much. I mean, it's going to be a landslide in 2020. No matter who's the nominee, landslide, because of this and many other things. Because just like with Kavanaugh, which was literally a year ago, right around this time, this whole Kavanaugh thing, that united the right. That brought the base out. That got people energized. That got people up. This is doing the same thing. If they did this right before the election, oh my God, I would be like so happy. I'd be cheering. I'd be like, yeah, we're going to win so easily now. But I remember the thing I was going to say now, which is there is one really good thing that's coming out of this too. That's, I think we already kind of know this stuff, but it's putting certain things in writing, and it's really shining light on who are the cucks with a C in the party, or that are not in the party too. I should be a little clear on that anymore. For example, Justin Amash. Oh my God, this guy drives me up a wall. I cannot stand this guy. I've never ever liked him, because he started saying that Trump should be impeached over the Russia stuff, and then he left the Republican Party, and now as an independent, he's saying basically that Trump, you know, should be impeached over this Ukraine stuff. I forget how he worded it, but that's basically what he's saying, in my opinion, is that Trump should be impeached over this stuff. God, see, that's where this, and Romney even said, like, oh, this is like troubling. He said something along those lines, I think. You're really seeing who the establishment, who the never Trumpers really are, and what they really believe, and how far they're really willing to go because of this. And oh my God, it just, obviously I'm a right-wing guy. I'm a more conservative guy. I'm a super pro-Trump guy, America First guy. I love people like Trump. And of course I'm going to disagree with the Democrats, not like their ideas, but at least they're mostly upfront with their ideas. At least they're mostly upfront with what they believe. These rhinos, these cucks with a C, those people are not upfront about these things. Those people are, Democrats in Republican clothing, and it's God, it's just, I want authenticity. I want honesty. I want these people out of the party. I want them to just be upfront with what they believe. I'm actually glad Justin Amash left. I was so happy. I was like, good riddance. But man, that guy drives me up a wall, because I still see all these libertarians and these sort of centrist-y independents going, oh, look at Justin Amash. And then the left goes, oh my God, look how great he is. They always roll out like Romney. When you see Romney getting rolled out and attacking Republicans, that's when you know it's total crap. That's when you know it's total crap. So they're going to, once they roll Romney out, which they're going to do, and then they roll Justin Amash out, they roll all these guys out, these like three right-ish leaning people to say how bad Republicans are, to criticize Republicans. That's when you know, it's another sort of, that's when the media is trying to keep the story alive, Yeah.
I feel like they're doing this just because, like, they're taking shots at Trump now because you went after an establishment politician.
Yep.
You went after, like, right or left. If you go after an establishment politician, we're gonna fight back, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
What do you think of Amash, Alex?
Never cared for him. I don't like those sorts of Republicans. Like, remind me of the college Republicans almost, like these sort of people who are just so pro-establishment that they hate what Trump represents. They hate the people, the common people, because they hate populism. They hate, all these sort of things. And it's annoying. And I hope that this is good because it'll get them out of the party.
Yeah.
These people have I have no desire for them to be on the, in the real Republican Party. A lot of these people are elitists. They live in these, Trump, he's got a ton of money, but he'll still talk to people. Like you can be rich and not be an elitist.
Well, yeah.
And you be, whatever, high
you
class.
nailed it. You nailed it, Alex. Like you don't have to be like, look, these establishment politicians are for me, the biggest gripe is that they are so out of touch with what's going on in the
real world,
in the real world, because they're so far gone from the real world that like at least, yes, Donald Trump is rich, he's a billionaire, he's but it's like he's ran businesses, he's ran organizations. There's still somewhat of a connect with how the economy's going and with how people operate. And it's like and like how to solve even just how to solve problems, right? You see how Trump solves a problem.
He knows how to do it.
Right.
Even if he doesn't know everything about a problem, he knows how to solve it.
It's direct, it's to the point, it's and he takes care of it. Whereas it's like there's like this political weaving toward you're not really doing anything. It's like, well, how can I take advantage of this problem to really benefit me versus, well, let's just solve this problem and then just get on with our day.
A perfect example where he's talking about the climate change, which we're going to talk about a bit of Greta Thunberg. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Yeah. But I wanted to say also about the college Republicans when you mentioned that, Alex. When we got into that little thing on Twitter where we were proposing to host a debate at Bartool Sports and the Penn State Dean of Communications, I said that we were a nonpartisan organization because we technically are. You may not believe it based on the stuff we do, but we technically are. We are a nonpartisan 501c3 organization. And so one person commented on Twitter, replied to him and said, Turning Point claiming to be nonpartisan is actually hilarious. Definitely not the group you want to associate yourself with. And then the Penn State College Republicans said, we're out here being partisan for the record. Okay. Yeah, like under Michael Straw.
Yeah, like the college Republicans, they don't know what they're doing. They're exactly like those sorts of people. Like when I was with them, they seemed to be country club Republicans. Now things could theoretically have changed since then, but I've been there for years, and I don't think a single
nothing's changed.
President of the college Republicans voted for Trump since I was there.
These are the same people. Like let's put this in perspective, right? One of the main complaints was that they use the due money to basically benefit themselves. And every member of the current administration went to CPAC last year.
That's just a coincidence.
But you just connect the dots. Look, it's the same. It's much more. It's more basically more of the same thing. Like we tried helping. We tried to.
Well, you know what the CI is? The College Independent supposedly said that Turning Point tried to get its members into the College Republican Board last year. That's what somebody said at their meeting said, according to somebody that was there. No, we didn't.
No.
I wish we did, but we didn't.
No, that's not what we did. No, we tried to basically get a. We tried to get Rob. We tried to get Rob.
Yeah, and he doesn't even come to Turning Point meetings.
There's because I'm thinking okay, so who would be a good leader? And he this is somebody that generally wanted the position, and it's he would make a fantastic leader.
Yeah.
So
Army
and
Ranger
of course
veteran.
And I'm a disabled veteran, right?
Yeah.
I'm look. Let's help him make it happen. And then come when all this shady stuff was going on to keep him out, then it's well, now I got to start digging.
Yeah.
And then when I start digging, I start finding stuff.
Yeah. And look, I think the current president, Max, really nice guy. I think he's really smart, really capable. You know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how he does with it. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But the thing is, the past history of the college Republicans is also reflected from what I've been told of college Republicans everywhere. We talked about this on the show so many times, but man, when I was just doing a collegian interview, which that's going to come out soon about this whole Barstool thing. And when I was doing it, like, one of the things that I reflected on was the fact that, like, you know, everybody's going to want to get in on this debate, but I don't think anybody's going to do as good as Turning Point. We are the only club that does free speech better than anyone else. We're the only club that does debate better than anyone else because, number one, our meetings have people from all over the spectrum. We have centrists, right-wingers, left-wingers, libertarians, ANCAPs, communists, socialists, feminists, you name it, it has shown up to our meetings. Well, not for yet, but, you know, maybe we can change that one of these days. I'll have Alex show up to a meeting.
Maybe they're hiding. They could be there in plain sight.
Yeah, you don't know.
I want to dress up as a little cow. It'd be nice.
Like, aren't the college Republicans
Big Al
like
would do.
not even doing a lot of their own events themselves like that to go and team up with Yao, which is like a failing club?
Well, here's the thing about I'll talk about this real quick, and then we're gonna go into Greta a bit. Apparently, in announcing the College Republicans group me, Yao or CRS, I still don't even know who's doing it, but somebody from their club said that they're hoping to bring Dave Rubin. And they're making a very big promise. Now, what I want to say is somebody who's done events, successful events, huge events, over 700 people to Donald Trump Jr. style events, you don't, before anything is set in stone, you do not say a word about who you're talking to, what's happening, or anything. You tease people, you hype them up a bit. That's it. But you don't make promises. You want to know why? Because if you don't keep the promise, disappointment. That's what always happens. Disappointment, one of the worst feelings ever is disappointment. Everybody hates disappointment. So we have an October event coming up, October 23rd. Yeah, it's getting close. But we still have some pieces that need to click into place still before it actually happens. 99% chance it does happen with what we already have planned. And we're going to obviously talk about that on the show when we have it. It'll probably be announced this week or next week. We still haven't told anybody that who our speakers are going to be because we don't want to make promises we can't keep or that could fall through because you never know what's going to happen. But you also need to hype up events. And when you announce something months later, before you can get UPAC funding and all this other stuff, you can't build hype effectively because people already know. They're going to forget and they're going to be like, oh, that's happening. But if you announce it like 3 weeks before, 4 weeks before, and you build hype, you advertise, that brings people out. You have a successful jam-packed event with people filling it up, and you have to so much that you have to turn people away. That's how you run events. If anybody's listening, you're welcome for that lesson because I'm literally telling you how to make it successful. Literally telling you. It's not that big of a secret, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be a failure. I'm sorry. And I didn't know what I was doing with our past events, but I learned real quick, and that's what you have to do. Any other final thoughts, or else we're going to move on to Greta?
No, you nailed it.
Thank you. I try. So, Greta Thunberg, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, spoke at the UN basically saying, oh, everybody's dying, climate change is terrible, and everybody's going to die.
You ruined my childhood.
Yeah, you ruined my childhood. She literally said that. She is a 16-year-old. She has Asperger's, and she's been in the works for many years as a climate change activist. She's been speaking at many events, and now she's gotten her chance in the spotlight. And Trump even tweeted after seeing her speech, he said he had the best way of handling her, because I'll explain the tactics behind this in a second, but he said, quote, she seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see. Perfect sarcasm. Perfect sarcasm. Why is that perfect? Why is that the best response? It's because, look, she's a child. The left knows, and they've used children many times before. Parkland's a good example. Yep. They know a child is your best shield for your ideas because the child can say whatever they want, and you can't attack them because if you do, you're going to be called a meanie, a bully, a terrible person because you're attacking a child. You're attacking somebody that's innocent and young. It is always a bad look to attack a child. So Trump didn't attack her. He used sarcasm. It is so clever, so smart, and it worked. It stuck. She even actually changed her bio too, which was not gonna lie, a clever move on her part, or the people people pulling her strings. But that's where I'm not really pissed off at her, to be honest with you. Even though I think she's emotional, she doesn't know anything she's talking about. She's not a scientist. She's emotionally charged and just sort of what I'm pissed off is at the adults.
A human shield. That's what she is. The left uses human shields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that same thing. Like they did the same thing with David Hogg.
Exactly.
Like there are people you cannot attack, but they use them as these like glass mascots. You know, you can't throw anything at them.
Glass mascots. I like that phrase. That's perfect. Because here's the thing. She's a puppet. She's just being used, and she doesn't know it. That's what's really sickening, is that there are adults, her parents, and these, the DNC or the left-wing activists, whoever you want to call them, these big adults are pulling her strings, giving her scripts, telling her what to say. Because if you see her off script, she doesn't know what to say. There's videos out there of people asking her questions, and she's lost. She just goes back to her script. They are scripting her and using her. It is terrible. And, I don't think she's going to last because of it. Because people will see through it. And look, we shouldn't be taking political advice and making policy off of children. Okay? Yeah. They're the least experienced demographic in the world. They don't know what they're talking about. I was a child. I still kind of am. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I can vote now. I'm a college student. This girl can't vote. Can't even drive. Why should we be listening to her? We shouldn't be. We shouldn't listen to any child on any politics at all.
But this is what the left does, though. Like they can't debate because their ideas suck. They can't. I mean, there's no logic. The ideas that they present and what few ideas they do have are just absolutely astronomically crazy. Yeah. So, what's left to do? Hide behind children, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing you do.
As George Carlin says, politicians hide behind, I think he said 4 things: the flag, or 3 things. Yes, the flag, the Bible, and children.
Yeah.
Always.
That's sad, I thought we were better than using child soldiers.
Yeah. Apparently not.
It's just so despicable of a tactic. Like, I hate that. I hate that's what politics has become.
Yeah.
So that's the time to go and use children to go and deliver a political message. That is so unethical. And that the Democrats would actually, do that, and they continue to do that. It's one of those things, and, I guess the right, they started to wise up, and, we Shaw for a while, but then it's okay to attack him. It's okay to attack who's the other kid, like the smiling kid. But think of the smiling kid too. The whole thing, the left literally tried to demonize him, and he almost got expelled. It's just so crazy because they don't even listen to their own advice, and they never get any flack for it because the left controls the media and they control the narrative because of it.
Yep, and they control the language. And what you're seeing with Greta is this is the left. Bring out another puppet that they can use, and they're also they're creating. They've people long before the political puppet masters pulled her into the political arena. People were filling her up, injecting her with climate anxiety. They were making her fearful, anxious, scared about something she knows nothing about, most of us know nothing about, and brought her to this place. It's almost like mental abuse in a way, because they're making her scared and fearful about something that we really shouldn't be afraid of. I mean, climate change, yes, it's an issue. It can have some effects, but it's not going to kill the world. The world's still going to keep spinning. I mean... And most people don't care about climate change, so I don't get why they think this is a smart play. I know partially why, but don't do it on this issue. Gun control is a better issue for them, because even though I disagree with it, it is a little more relevant than climate change,
Don't give them any more ideas.
I'm sorry.
We already had, David Hogg. I don't want to see them to keep doing that behavior. But, the only way you can fight against that is, making memes. Because the politicians can't do that, but I've just sort of seen memes just start going everywhere, and I think that is the only real way you can combat this sort of tactic. Just kind of having people just post memes everywhere. Don't have a politician do anything, but you can post a meme and it'll kind of make people laugh about it and not take it seriously. Because you shouldn't go and attack a child, but the sort of context around it, you kind of make that message like a joke. So next time you see it, you remember the meme, and I've been seeing some hilarious memes so far. Mm-hmm. It's great. They finally found a way to go and fight this fire, to combat this tactic, and that's great. But I predict them using this more and more.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
Because there's, it's just so difficult of a thing to do, to go and fight against that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's limited visibility of any opposition to it too, because it's like the majority of the media, it really is liberal. Like, you're not like it's going to take it, but by the time the smaller outlets, the smaller news outlets debunk everything that they do, it's like a whole bunch of other people have listened to this and have basically drank it in. And, this is what we are. This is where we are right now.
This is a bit off topic, but it's worth mentioning. We're getting into a little Twitter battle here on the Turning Point Twitter with the Yale chapter at Penn State.
Oh, do they still exist?
Apparently. They had a meeting.
Did you name their meetings?
Well, there was a meeting the other day. I didn't show up. It wasn't even announced in the Yale announcements group me. It was announced in the College Republicans announcement group me.
Oh yeah, because I can't. Like that's sad. Like that's really sad. We have to go and do all your stuff. Like you don't even put in your own group me. Like they're conjoined at the hip because I feel like they won't be able to walk any other way.
I know.
It's like I had to go and like surgically like make someone into like a human centipede to go and like function.
No, seriously, it's great that people are still going to these meetings. It's still great. All three of them.
I knew you were gonna say that. Oh wait, yeah. Well, it's funny, because I was in that Barstool thread again, and Yal said, well, the college Dems butted in, said, wait a minute, who are you? I guess talking to Bull Moose Party that's in there too. But Yal said, we'd also like to go on record as saying we don't like you guys. And I didn't know who they were referring to, so I said, us? ? And Yal said, at Penn State, really depends on your leadership at any given time, Kirkophiles, referring to Charlie Kirk. And then I said, how about our current leadership? And they said 5 out of 10.
Ask them how they feel they brought to their meetings.
Well, are you kidding me? Like,
I think they're trying. I think that's some shade being thrown at our current exec board.
Yeah, I mean,
saying they only like 2 of us, not all 4 of us, and I think I know which 2 they don't like.
Yep, I imagine this is being done by one particular individual.
Yeah,
I can name any names because they don't need any more airtime.
Yeah,
but yeah, they can have fun punching to the right and not do anything important. You guys can keep up the good work.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That's the lesson I'm trying to bring out here by mentioning is that why do we keep punching to the right on this sort of stuff?
Look, here's what somebody once told me. When less accomplished people take pop shots at you, you're somebody.
Yeah, you're doing something right. That's what Trump talks about a lot. Like with Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell has success. Yeah, but she's still a loser. She has like bare minimum success, and nobody knows about her anymore. Nobody cares about her anymore.
I've seen nothing outside of stand-ups. I don't know. I have no idea what she's been in. Me
neither.
Yeah, I'm like, I know she had stand-ups, and I know she had some sort of like documentary on like an LGBT cruise or something like that or whatever, because I saw it on a preview for another movie that once was or something like that, but that was like, I want to say that was like 15 years ago or something. I don't know, like complete irrelevant would be an upgrade like that's how bad it is. Like I'm trying to figure out like I guess she's on The View. She was on The View, I think.
I want to be on that show.
I mean, at least I know with Whoopi Goldberg, don't like her either. At least I know what movies she's been in. Like she's actually been in some pretty good stuff, and she, there's talent. There's talent. There was talent there. Color Purple. Got it. Joy Behar, don't like her either, but. At least, she was in Hall Pass and all that, whatever. At least I can think of stuff that she was in. Like Rosie O'Donnell, I don't know what she's done.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And that's the thing. When a nobody starts attacking a somebody, that's when you know, like,
You've done pretty good for yourself.
You've done good, and they're trying to get something out of you. They're trying to, in a way, be like a clout chaser. It's a grab onto your fame. It's pretty dirty, if you ask me. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to say like I'm anything special now, because I'm not. I'm just a little college kid. But just getting to a little level
but it's like they're taking pop shots, and the entire board is doing awesome stuff.
Yeah,
awesome stuff. Like and the best is yet to come.
Oh yeah,
the best is yet to come.
Yeah,
and all these people have taken, and first off, let me just say, like Trevor and Brittany and T, they've done an incredible job.
Yeah.
Like an incredible job. Put so much work into this stuff, and it's just stuff that we believe in, and we're behind it, and it's like, and they don't. I mean, they still don't get enough credit for what they do. But I appreciate all of it. I appreciate every bit of it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, and it's like, you really don't like, and when I say you, I mean them.
Yeah.
I'm like the people outside of TP. You don't know. You just don't.
I gotta get going.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. See you later, man.
All right. Catch you later, man.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say is, because we have to close out here, so we're going over 9 o'clock. Last thing I want to say is that one thing, because Trump talks about it's an art of the deal, and I've noticed it right now, and like I say, I'm nobody. I'm still a little college student. But when you start getting a little bit of success, when you start getting a little bit of power, a little bit of leadership, a little bit of something, everybody wants to take it from you. They want something from you. It's because they're nobodies. They want what you have, and they want a piece of your success to help them. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's really, man, it's something that does bother me and gets to you a little bit, because you're just like, who do I trust? Who's really trying to be honest here?
No, you've got a good group. Stick with
I
them.
know.
You've got a good group.
Yeah, I know.
You've got
do.
a really good group.
I'm just saying the other forces that start coming in, that's where it gets
I'd
tricky.
feel terrible. If I was with CR, I would feel terrible, because I don't know who I could trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's throwing everybody under the bus, people talking behind each other's backs. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they have. Like, but, hey, that's their problem, not ours.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more real news.